Okay, never done a video like this before, so naturally, I'm terrified. What's up? My name is Youngtown, and today I want to talk about Zelda. Now, in the realm of Zelda, there isn't quite a blood feud that's as fierce as the one between A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. And anytime I've seen someone try to establish this argument by taking one side or another, it always leaves me asking one question. Why? I am so bent out of shape over how bent out of shape people get when it comes to these two games. And here are my few theories as to why people may get this way, or even why they compare the two to begin with. The first one is themes. I think people begin to compare the two because of how similar they are thematically. I've heard people go as far as saying that Ocarina of Time is the 3D A Link to the Past. It's this mentality of, well, they're the same game thematically in more ways than any other two Zelda games are. So with that being the case, which one is the best? For those of you who want the perfect, we all win, highly generalized kind of answer, here you go. There's so many aspects to The Legend of Zelda. Some of us prefer the story, others we prefer gameplay. Sometimes we prefer a mixture of both, but in the end, we play The Legend of Zelda, and that's all that matters. No, but I refuse to go that route. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty a little bit. Many sites and people consider Ocarina of Time to be the greatest game of all time. Not just the greatest Zelda game, which a lot of people do, but the game. And naturally that places the biggest target on it. So we have this scenario, at least this is how I see it in my head, where Ocarina is sitting on this golden throne basking underneath a glorious heavenly spotlight, and people are going like, Ocarina of Time, you undeserving little flashy spectacle. Resulting in A Link to the Past being utilized as this tool to debunk Ocarina from its throne, which people believe A Link to the Past deserves. I believe that the reason people attack Ocarina of Time has more to do with its review score and its legacy than it actually has anything to do with its similarities to its Super Nintendo predecessor. I believe this to be true because every conversation or debate I have heard regarding the two games always sound personal. I don't mean to handpick my nitpicks in order to justify my obvious frustrations, just as the Zelda Sequelitis episode does, but the best example is the Zelda Sequelitis episode. What breaks my heart is, what's so frustrating is that the heart of this video is not to encourage a civil discussion as it supposedly lets on at the beginning by saying stuff like, hey, shouldn't we look at things objectively and look at things like adults now? Which by the end of the video, you realize that this is not about a civil discussion. This is about the definitive Zelda experience according to Egoraptor and why Ocarina of Time is not that. Which is such a shame because these are fresh new critiques of this game that are presented and set up in a way that's so misleading. But yo, people who shout Ocarina of Time aren't fully off the hook either. There are so many people who have stood behind Ocarina of Time shouting nostalgia, and I remember playing this game as a kid as their main basis for defending why it's the best Zelda game of all time. A lot of people do this, but none are more guilty, I think, than those who do this for Ocarina. Which leads me to my final question, is it even fair to compare the two when one is a perfectly refined 2D Zelda and the other is the newborn of a 3D generation? Like, why isn't the most popular argument Wind Waker versus A Link to the Past? Especially when both of these are polished, more fully realized versions of their previous installment. Or why not The Legend of Zelda versus A Link to the Past, or Ocarina of Time versus Wind Waker? At least those won't evoke a blood feud. I mean, is that what it is? Like, do we like defending either Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past just because it's a hot button topic and that's it? But I don't know. What do you guys think of this legendary rivalry? Let me know in the comments below. Go watch some more Zelda stuff, and as always, until next time. Somebody's porch or doorstep, I support orphan. Flourish in the dark, painting the world up with an order that is already disordered. And with my lovely company, you suddenly become a puppet of the beast. We gotta hustle, opponent. Men know where you at. Are you riding in the back? I'm a prisoner in that cell, living in the past.